House Speaker Paul Ryan warning against rushing to judgment on President Trump's latest scandal surrounding the firing of FBI Director Jim Comey. Watch him here.
We need the facts. It is obvious there are some people out there who want to harm the president, but we have an obligation to carry out our oversight regardless of which party is in the White House. And that means before rushing to judgment, we get all the pertinent information.
All of this coming as the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Jason Chaffetz, is ready to subpoena the FBI to turn over all documents and recordings detailing any communications between Mr. Comey and President Trump. Watch him.
If there are such memos or documentation, we would like to see that from the FBI, and we've given a week to produce that. And if I need to issue a subpoena, I'll issue a subpoena.
All right, Republican Congressman Peter King of New York is a member of the House Intelligence Committee, one of the several committees investigating all of this. He joins me right now. Good to have you here, Congressman.
Thank you, Trish.
Is this, in your view at all, a political witch hunt? I mean, are there people out there, specifically those in the intelligence community, that do not want a President Trump and are doing anything they can to take him down?
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of that, and I agree with what the speaker said. Based on what the facts we have right now, this is like a wolf pack rush to judgment. I mean, right now there is nothing there. There's no evidence of any crime being committed. There's no evidence of any cover-up. If you take the Comey memo, assuming it exists, assuming it's accurate, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the investigation of General Flynn with Russian collusion? Are we talking about his conversation with the Russian ambassador? What are we talking about? And if it was so serious, if this was even a half-hearted attempt to influence an investigation, Director Comey had the legal obligation to report that. And yet, just this week or last week, when Andy McCabe, his deputy, was testifying, he said that there was no interference at all by the White House or by anyone with the investigation. So, to me, so far, there's just this really a very unseemly rush to diminish a president of the United States. And I would say the same if this were Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. What's happening here is wrong. There's leaks which violate the law, and there's a rush to judgment without any regard at all for common decency.
Well, let's not forget this. This is not just the media, right, that may be rushing to judgment, and you can kind of anticipate and expect that from a media that clearly detests him. But you also have, Congressman, conservatives, Republicans that are sounding the alarm. What do you make of that?
I think that they should get more backbone and get more nerve. The fact is, listen, if the president has done something wrong, fine, we should acknowledge it. But right now, there's no evidence of that at all. And I think this is people being afraid of the stampede, being afraid. Listen, you walk down the halls of Congress, and there's 30 reporters running after you, microphones and cameras and notebooks, saying, shouldn't the president be impeached? Isn't this a crime?
Wow.
Isn't this obstruction of justice? They've already made up their mind that it is. And when you say no, they look at you like you're crazy. So no, listen, we as Republicans and as members of Congress, forget the party, as members of Congress, as elected officials, we have the right to stand up and do the right thing. Listen, if something comes out on the president, fine, but I've seen no evidence at all yet of any collusion. I've seen no evidence at all yet of any interference with the investigation. If there were, then Director Comey was remiss in not bringing that to our attention. I don't think he ever told the Senate or the House Intelligence Committees at all, and he was constantly briefing both committees on the status of the investigation, and I'm not aware of any allegation or any complaint that there was any attempt to intimidate or to impede the investigation.
Congressman, if he testifies, what's going to be your #1 question? What would you want to know from James Comey?
Well, I would say really two things. One, if this happened, why didn't he report it to a superior? Why didn't he report it to people around him? I mean, his own deputy director apparently didn't know about it. So if it was that serious, why didn't he report it? Also, what was the full context? What was President Trump, assuming that it's accurate, what was President Trump talking about? What investigation was he talking about? Did Director Comey think there was enough evidence to go forward anyway? Or was President Trump just, well, if there's nothing there, why not end it now? You don't know. And again, I'm not even
the context of the conversation. You're right, is important.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
The New York Times did not have the entire memo. They had a portion of it, which was read to them.
And we know the New York Times has been irresponsible before. Remember, they did a front-page story back on January 20th about the president and the Russian investigation, which the FBI itself said was BS.
Yeah. Congressman, very quickly, what does this mean for the agenda? Because I'll tell you, you get a market right now that's pretty jittery, off 300 points right now on the Dow. There are fears that tax reform, health care reform, these things will have to go by the wayside because there's this other distraction going on. What are your thoughts?
Well, we can't allow that to happen. That's why it's important for Republicans to, again, stand strong on this. Again, have a legitimate investigation. That's fine. Go ahead with that. As real facts come out, we have to address them. But we can't be giving into the crisis of the day and yielding to this. I mean,
it's like wrong. Crisis of the hour, right? I mean,
exactly of the hour. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Congressman King. It's always good to see you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.